Aric Almirola won the VFW 200. Here are his remarks at the press conference following the race.
This is your second win in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, and your first victory certainly here at Michigan. You picked up a few points in the point race. Certainly a great race out there today. I wanted to make note that there were a track record 20 lead changes here at Michigan. That's a track record in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, 20 lead changes. Previous record 18 in 2004. But Aric, let's hear from you. Talk about the performance of the 51 team today.
Yeah, it was good. Our Graceway Pharmaceuticals Toyota Tundra was not as good as we wanted to be in the beginning of the race, and Richie Wauters and the guys on our team did a really good job adjusting the truck all day long. And I kept complaining about the truck, but right there at the end, when we got out in clean air, it showed me how important clean air was, because my truck was almost perfect. I ran wide open those last 8 laps after the restart. So, my hat goes off to Billy Ballew and all the guys at our shop, because they work their butts off during the week to give us good trucks, and they don't ever give up. We ran bad. We ran bad at Charlotte, and we ran good at Texas and didn't get the finish we wanted. So we came back, and those guys went to work, and just real proud of those guys, because we brought all 11 back, and it got us another victory. And it's man, it's just cool. It makes me feel good, because after you win at Dover, you're like, well, that was one, but Kyle ran out of gas and everybody had problems, so it's easy to naysay and discount the victory. This weekend we did it fair and square. I mean, everybody was on the racetrack, and I raced my butt off with those guys, so that was a lot of fun.
Richie, talk about some of the calls that were made and maybe some of the changes, or how things changed maybe after that rain delay.
Well, early in the race we just he was a little bit tight on exit the whole time, so first adjustments we made, we took a little wedge out and did a track bar adjustment, and it seemed to make a little bit of difference, but it still wasn't enough. So in the truck series, when you only get to stop twice, you got to make sure you get it the next time. So we made a pretty big air adjustment on it, and it was still a little bit tight, but once you got out in clean air, then it was good.
Billy Ballew certainly must that 11, I believe it's the number 11 chassis.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of like that one, don't you?
I think we need to keep that one around. It seems like it's doing a real good job. But
Well, congratulations. Talk about today's win.
well, it's not just an 11 chassis, and it has ironically been great, but it's just the hard work that Richie and all the guys at the shop do on the 51 and the 15, and Eric's doing a tremendous job. It was, I think, last week been a year that he's raced the trucks, and he drove the 15 and the 51 and every number that we had, and we just, it just works. So I've really got a pretty simple job as far as on that end. I don't have to worry about what them guys do. They do a great job.
Take questions now for these three. We'll start with Reed and then go over to Mike Embry. Go ahead, Reed.
Reed Spencer with Sporting News for Aric. You took the lead in a 3-wide situation in the middle. A lot of times in a situation like that, you might think this is not the greatest place to be. But what gave you the confidence to stay in the gas and get to the front from that position?
I didn't think it was the greatest place to be either, but I knew we were going to run wide open through the corner. We were either going to crash or we were going to make it out the other side, because I knew how important clean air was, and I knew that was my only shot to get out in the lead. And if I didn't get out in the lead, there was no chance of us winning the race. So I went down in turn 1, and I knew that I was going to run a shorter distance than Todd, so I just tried to hang tight on Kyle's door to get him loose, which I did. And by the time we got off turn 2, I was almost clear Todd, and then when we went through 3 and 4, I cleared him. So, I mean, I think that was the move of the race, as far as I'm concerned, for winning the race, because, like I said, our truck in dirty air just wasn't as good as it needed to be, and that was key.
Go ahead, Mike.
Mike Embry, SpeedTV.com. Aric, did you feel that you could not win the race from second position after that restart with the 3-wide? If you had fallen back to second, you couldn't have gotten around?
On that restart, I thought about it, and I knew I couldn't beat Todd to the line. So I made sure, and Todd's really good on restarts, and I tried to time when he was going to start so that I could hang on his quarter panel and side draft him. And I just got fortunate enough that I did everything right that I needed to do to stay right there on his quarter panel. And you know, that was a big deal for me to make sure that I could stay with him, because if he clears me getting into turn one, more than likely my race is over as far as having a shot to win.
Other questions? Anybody? Bob has one.
Bob Parker, Daily for Aric. How big is this going into what could be an interesting 3 weeks for you? And do you stay for tomorrow to hang out with the 48 bunch? And can you just kind of talk about what you're going to do the next 3 weeks?
Yeah, I am going to hang out tomorrow, only because I got a free flight home from a good friend of mine. But I'm going to hang out tomorrow and watch the race and stay and listen and see how they operate. And,
Copyright 2010, AmericaJR.com, Detroit, Michigan, USA.